Hey everyone, it's Sveta here and welcome to my channel. So today I will talk about the books that inspired me, that influenced me, my mindset, and of course these will be books about spirituality, philosophy and positive psychology. And my cat Izzy is kindly accompanying me today. So let's waste no time and let's get started, but before that, if you're new here, welcome. I talk on spirituality, everyday aesthetics and shifting mindsets on this channel, and if you have already subscribed, then welcome back. So the first book I'd like to talk about is this one. It's called, let me tell you, The Right Questions. 10 essential questions to guide you to an extraordinary life. So I have this book in Russian, but I have just given you the original name, and the author is Debbie Ford. So this book was the first book that led me to my spiritual journey. It was about, I don't know, maybe 8 years ago that I just browsed the bookshop and I have decided to buy this one for no reason, and I don't regret it at all because the book is amazing. So the author suggests the idea that sometimes, or rather say often, we live on autopilot, like we make decisions automatically, we do things automatically, and it's not the best way to live our lives. You know, the outcome, it usually makes us feel frustrated and sad. So instead she suggests to use 10 questions, and she gives these questions to use them before you want to make any important decision in your life, or you know, if you need guidance. So as for me, I've actually written out those questions, and I keep them in a separate sheet of paper, and I get back to them every time I need to make a decision, and every time I hesitate about this or that situation. So the book is really tiny, and it's actually 1 or 2 evening read. So if you'd like to start with some book that is on the verge of spirituality and psychology, then welcome, this book is what you need. Okay, so the next books I would like to talk about are spiritual books, and I'd like to start with this one. This is a huge book, as you might see. Yeah, it's really heavy, and it has like more than 800 pages. But the reason for that is it's actually consists of several books. So the author divides it into 5 steps, and each step equals 1 book. So you have actually 5 books here. The book is called Reality Transerfing, and it's by Vadim Zeland, who is a Russian spiritual writer, and he's quite popular actually in some circles. Now, you know, I have bought this book like 3 years prior to reading it, because I just didn't have that, you know, calling, and one day I just felt that I have to read it. And I don't regret, because I understand that if I were to read it earlier, I would not understand it the way I do now. So my advice is, do not start with this book if you don't feel quite confident in your, you know, spiritual journey yet, if you're just starting. And one more thing, I know that this book is translated into English. Oh, Izzy is going to leave us, so okay. So this book is sold on Amazon, and it's translated into English, but I've read some reviews and they say that the translation is really poor, that it's more like Google Translate. So if you have any questions about this book, maybe if you don't understand the translation, the meaning of this or that phrase, or sentence, you are welcome to write your questions in the comment section below, and I will try to help you to clarify things for you. Now there are books that I have already mentioned in one of my previous videos, and to be exact, I've mentioned this book, that is The Astonishing Power of Emotions by Esther and Jerry Hicks. So the authors, one of my favorite authors, they are channeling guys, meaning they translate the ideas they heard from Abraham, they call it, that substance, if it's the right wording. And it might feel strange for you. So what I think is that you don't have to believe into, that kind of things. You don't have to believe into channeling to read the books, because the ideas you get there, the hints, the answers to your questions, they don't have to do anything with the idea of channeling in general. So if you feel attracted to the ideas, to that new knowledge, it's totally fine. Okay, so The Astonishing Power of Emotions. This book is actually very helpful, and it helped me when I had, hard times in my life, and I was emotionally unstable. And after reading this book, I became calm, I became more mindful, and I actually turn back to it every time I need answers to my questions, to my current questions, to my current state. So what's great about the book is that the authors, they give you the ideas first, and then it's questions and answers paragraphs. So it's really convenient. You just open the contents, you find, the question that interests you, you go there and you have your answer. It's very convenient. And I have several other books by these authors, so let me tell you more about them. This is The Law of Attraction, and actually I suggest you read this book first to get the whole idea the authors are bringing. And it's called The Law of Attraction, The Basics of the Teachings of Abraham. So yeah, if you would like to start your journey with Hicks, then I suggest you read this book first, and then all the others. And the next one, well, I have two books here, but it's like one and the same books, just divided into two parts. So this book is called The Amazing Power of Deliberate Intent, Living the Art of Allowing. So this book is somewhat similar to reality transurfing. So Zeland, he gives you the idea of setting intentions and transforming your reality that way. So it's basically the same, but in different words. That is suggested by Hicks. And the final book by these authors, by the picture you can tell that it's about love maybe, but wait a second. So its name is The Vortex, where the law of attraction assembles all cooperative relationships. So yeah, this book is actually about relationships, any kind of relationships, personal, like with your partner, with your parents, with your kids, and even with your pets, with society in general. And this book, it also helped me in times I had, issues in my personal life. So while reading this book, I became calm and more confident in what's happening and how I feel what's there. And if you have experienced the same situation, or if you are experiencing it now, I really believe that this book might help you. Again, questions and answers, actually lots of questions and answers on different topics. Basically, the whole book is questions and answers. So, highly recommend. And I have only one book on philosophy today. Why? Because I have picked only those books that influenced me the most, and this one, it's a gem. So this is The Art of Loving by Erich Fromm. I'm sure you have heard of Erich Fromm. He's a German, I believe, philosopher of the 20th century. He was very famous and popular, and he wrote like lots of philosophical works. And to tell the truth, as for me, I find his works a little bit, hard to understand, hard to digest, because his language is quite, complex, even if I read him in my native language. But this book is an exclusion, because I have spent maybe 2 or 3 evenings, maybe 3 evenings, to read the whole book, so it's really tiny, but it has so many insights, so many ideas. So what it's all about? He talks about different types of love, different types of different aspects of love. And while reading this book, you can actually change your attitude to the people around you. You may find that you were not that empathetic, to this or that person or to yourself. So if you feel like there is something wrong with your relationships, any kind, I suggest you read this one. You will not regret. Yeah. So the last pile is about the positive psychology topic. So have you ever heard of positive psychology, guys? Because I haven't. I haven't until I finished the Science of Well-Being course by Yale University. By the way, I'll leave a link to the course in the description box below. The course is absolutely free and it's amazing. So we all know about, regular psychology and the issues it is trying to solve. But I hardly ever heard about positive psychology, but it's a great, discipline, as it turned out. And I've bought this book. It's by Seligman. He was one of the psychologists who introduced the term, and this book is basically the basics. So it's called Authentic Happiness, and it's titled Using the New Positive Psychology to Realize Your Potential for Lasting Fulfillment. So he gives the basics, what the positive psychology is about, how you can implement this or that techniques in your life, like using your character strengths, and so on and so forth. And the book is quite, scientific. It has a scientific approach, has lots of data on different researches and experiments. So if you are not into spirituality but rather into scientific knowledge, this is the book for you. So it's great to read this one. Yeah. And I have 2 more books by his colleague, by Sonya Lyubomirsky, who is also a professor of psychology, and she wrote those 2 amazing books. The first one is The Myths of Happiness. In this book, she basically tells us why they think this or that thing may make us happy, but it doesn't. So we all sometimes think that, okay, I will be happy when I get married, or I will be happy when I have that job, or I will be happy when I move to this or that country. But it doesn't always work like that, and she explains why. So another book for those who are on a scientific side of things. And the second book, The How of Happiness. So this book is kind of a continuation of this book, of the previous one. So in this book, Sonya tells us and suggests us ways to improve our happiness. So she gives different approaches, again scientifically based, and there are really good ideas inside. So if you are interested, I suggest you buy these two books at once. Read this one first and then this one. Okay, and the last book I would like to talk about today is The Power of Character Strengths by Ryan Nimitz, I'm not sure on the pronunciation, and Robert McGrath. So this is not actually a book, a traditional book, but a guide. So what it's all about? There is a site of the VIA Institute of Character, and the authors have that project that allows people to define their character strengths. And they have a test on the site, and I have taken the test, and they send you the results on email. So this is how you basically know what your character strengths are. Of course, you can work with them, develop them by yourself, but I suggest you buy this guide because they give you all the information on each of the strengths. So let's say, okay, we have honesty. First, you will learn what is honesty. Next, you learn why honesty is valuable. Next, how to ignite your honesty by reflecting, spotting the strength, taking action, and finding balance. So this is a complete guide, as I've said, and you will get many ideas on how to develop your strength. This is it for the books, and now guys, I have a question for you. So I read a lot, and basically I have paper books. I like to, turn the pages and all that, but the space, my apartment is really tiny and there is not much space, and I do not want to buy more books, more paper books, and I'm thinking of buying Kindle. So I know it's more convenient, to have only this one little tiny thing and thousands of books inside, but I hesitate. I don't know, I'm not sure if I will enjoy it, if I will enjoy reading an electronic book and not the paper book. So if you use Kindle or any other pocketbook, please let me know what is your experience, how do you feel about it, do you like it or not. I will much appreciate it. And the final thing is, please share the books you have already read, the books that inspired you, that improved or changed your mindset, changed your life, impacted you in this or that way. I'm sure that I will find some new books to read, and other people who will read these comments will find something interesting for them. So let's kind of exchange our experience. Okay, and that is it for today. So if you still haven't liked this video but you liked it, don't forget to click like, don't forget to subscribe, and I will see you next time. Thanks for your time and thanks for watching.